This is part seven of why the NBA is in the toilet. I'm gonna keep rolling with these because I got so many more. I'm just refreshed, man. I just hit Paul Pierce with a tsunami. Mr. Podcast P, the guy who has more pods, what, 7 times more podcast videos in 5 months than he has basketball games. And I got another one right now. Another one who's in my sight, my scope. I got you. I got you. Yes, sir. I got you. Let's talk about it. Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Rudy's Rant, powered by Coming Out the Podcast. I'm your host, Rudy Rodriguez Shoma, aka Rudy the Hammer. We talk facts over feelings. Those of you new to the channel, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment. And those of you who are back again, I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Remember, we go live tomorrow night, 9 p.m. It's 10 o'clock, 10:30 Eastern time right now. So if this gets posted after midnight, then it'll be tonight at 9 p.m. But we are going live at 9 p.m. We got lots to chop it up. So February 18th, 9 p.m., we will be going live. So make sure you are here to check it out. Let's talk about my next target. Targeted a lot of different things, targeted different people, targeted situations. And now I'm going to go after another one who, if you asked me a year ago, even 1 year ago, when we started this podcast, we had a top 5 in the NBA. And my number one player is one of the reasons that the NBA is in the fucking toilet. No other than Joel Embiid, Philadelphia 76ers. Joel Embiid, 2 years ago, was MVP of the league. 3 years ago, was second in MVP voting. 4 years ago, second in MVP voting. Joel Embiid, when he got injured last year, was averaging 34.7 points per game. He was on his way to another monster season. But then he missed 43 games. He missed 43 games. He can't make it up. He missed 43 games. This is a guy who's missed about half of the games that he should have played in during the course of his career, including missing the first 2 full seasons of his NBA career. He's not even 31 yet. He'll be 31 next month. But the man walks around like he's 75. In fact, my mother is 75 in May. Sorry, I put your name out there, Mom. I mean, your age out there, Mother. But my mom is 75 in May. And my mom walks better than Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid is on the downward slide of his career. He had a short prime, but after game 34, Joel Embiid then missed pretty much the rest of the season, minus 5 games. He was able to play in the playoffs against the Knicks. Had a 50-point game that they won. Looked like the guy who I think talent-wise is as good as there is in the NBA. I mean, I can't help it. I think Joel Embiid, skill for skill, has as much skill as anybody in the league. He's just that good. But he's also just that much of a big fucking pussy. And he walks around with this permanent bitter beer face. There's always an issue. There's always an injury. The man walks around wearing body armor and still somehow always manages to get hurt. He's always falling on the ground. There's always something when it comes to Joel Embiid. Man was part of a team that included James Harden, Ben Simmons. When Ben Simmons was supposedly good, then he has Jimmy Butler. They lose on that buzzer beater by Kawhi Leonard in Game 7 of that playoff series. And I do believe that Jimmy Butler had never left Philadelphia. The Sixers would have won at least one championship, probably 2. But Joel Embiid is a guy who is perpetually injured. I mean, think about this. Last year, Game 32 he played, he scored 70 points. He was 24 for 41 from the field, 21 from 23 from the line, 18 rebounds. He had 70 points. Like, there's no question that this man has unreal talent. Just looking at his games. Look at his games last season. I might as well just share it. Look at the games this man had last year. Look at these games. Dude, 24, 34, 35, 28, 26, 48, 27, 33, 37, 39, 20, 32, 32, 32, 35, 30, 38, 34, 41, 35, 42, 40, 51, 31, 31, 30, 41, 41, 36, 33, 70, 31, 14, and then he's injured. And you see all these missed games, and then he goes back 24, 29, 30, 37, 32, 29, 34, 50, 27, 19, 39 in a game 6 loss. And you sit here and you say, man, this motherfucker is so good. But yet, you look at this, he's always got something going on. And it doesn't matter what year it is. You can go through them. Every year, it's the same shit. Every year, same shit. It never stops when it comes to this man. He's always got an ailment. He's always got an ailment. And it's one of the most frustrating things in basketball to see a guy with so much skill always having an issue. Always. You look at the year he won the MVP. I mean, he had games of 59, 42, 40, 53, 44, 48, 42, 41, 47, 41, 42, 46, 52. Guys, he's a one-man wrecking machine. But the motherfucker is always hurt. It doesn't matter. He's always fucking hurt. When you have players like this, who the least boo-boo there is ends his season, you have a problem in your league. You have a player with so much goddamn ability. I mean, look at him. 39 games last year. Year before, 66. So he missed 16. Year before that, 68. He missed 14. Year before that, 51, 21 missed games. Year before that, 51, 21 missed games. Year before that, 64, 18 missed games. Year before that, 19 missed games. Year before that, 51 missed games. The year before that, 82 missed games. The year before that, 82 missed games. This man just misses games. His whole life has been an injury. His whole freaking life is an injury. And it's frustrating because you can see just how good he can be. But then this year, it's been a fall. He's only shooting 45.4%, 24.9 points per game, and he's missed 37 games. He's only played 17 games this season. This is the guy who they rely on to be the guy. And he's just not reliable. I mean, you look at him, he started the season missing the first 9 games, plays 4 the next 5, then misses the next 6, 7, plays 2, misses 1, plays 1, misses 1, plays 4, misses 1, plays 2, has missed 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 straight games. It never stops. And even when he plays well, they still lose. 27 points and 12 boards, lose to Milwaukee by 8. 27 points, 12 boards, lose to Toronto by 3. 29 points, they won by 2 over Dallas. 28, they won by 20 over Brooklyn. 28 points, 14 boards, they get beat by 34. 37 and 9, they won by 22. 32 and 5. They won by 3. He played all 4 of these games. Spurs, Boston, Utah, Portland. They win 4 straight. We'll make that 5. He played 5 straight. He played 5 of 6. He missed 1, and they won all 5 that he played. And the one he missed, they lost by 27. All this is happening while Tyrese Maxey has become a fucking star. And this also goes hand in hand with the bullshit that has with Paul Pierce. I mean Paul Pierce. I'm sorry, Paul George. This bullshit with Paul George. You have a guy like Tyrese Maxey who really took advantage of Joel Embiid being out and really establishing himself as a monster on the floor. I mean, Tyrese Maxey, I think, is a fantastic player. He averaged 26 points a game last year, 6 assists, 4 boards, put up monster numbers when Joel Embiid was out. And you think that if Joel Embiid could ever be healthy, these two could have a ridiculous duo. Instead, he's always hurt. This year, I mean, Maxey's got games of 50, 31, 33, 30, 35, 33, 42, 32, 51. I mean, 32, 33, 35, 30, 30, 30, 52. This dude's busted 50 points 3 times this season. Dude's a monster. But you don't ever have Joel Embiid on the floor. And now you don't have Paul George on the floor half the time. And Paul George has regressed into a basic role player. Like in this case, Paul George isn't even the 2. He's the 3. He's the 3rd option, making $50 million a year. So what happens with the Sixers? Like you've given Joel Embiid all these talented players around him, but the man is always hurt, perpetually fucking hurt. And I'm sorry, was I looking at the right stuff? Those were last year. He had 3 50-point games. My mistake. This year, he's had a bunch of big games. He's had 40, 33, 32, 30, 39, 45, 32, 32, 37, 43, 42, 33, 34, 31, 39. I mean, big games. This year, Tyrese Maxey's averaging 27-6 a game. 45% shooting, 6.1 assists, 3.5 boards. Imagine if he had an actual running mate. And this is the big problem that exists in Philadelphia. Philadelphia is loaded with talent. They got talent. They've had talent for years. And they haven't made one conference finals in that time. And you look no more than to Joel Embiid, who's always crying. And there's an article that came out today, Sports Nation, the 76ers site. Now Joel Embiid's defense is killing the team because he can't move. He's useless defensively. He's a stiff. You know, when teams are getting in the paint on Philadelphia, they score. They score almost 68% of the time on shots within 6 feet. That's what Embiid's supposed to stop. But he's not stopping it. He's just not very good anymore. And I can't believe I'm saying it, but because he's so inept defensively, it is a big problem. You just reading some notes here. When Joel Embiid's on the court over the last 4 games, the team has a defensive rating of 117.4. That would be the NBA's 4th worst defense on the season. Like, think about that. When he's on the court, they're toast. They can't stop a runny nose. They can't stop anybody. And it's sad because I think Joel Embiid is still so damn talented. But watch him run down the floor. It's like he's in permanent labor. He's in permanent labor. And all that motherfucker does is complain. He's like always complaining. He has that look of nonstop complaining. Like, bro, I mean, if you can't play basketball anymore without complaining, just retire. Because what you're doing right now to the Philadelphia 76ers is holding up the future of the franchise. Because you can't trade him. Like, you can't trade Joel Embiid. He's too valuable in terms of points and rebounds per game. But at the same time, the man's missed half his games. I mean, at least you could say he's not had a podcast preventing him from freaking working, but, like Paul George. But When Joel Embiid, when you look at him and you look at the problems defensively now, he can't defend anybody. He's always hurt. And I've always had a big problem with one thing about Joel Embiid. He plays small. He's always played small. And that was the biggest thing when I watched him. And I'm like, if this guy would ever play like a big and act like a big, if he did those things, he'd be so unbelievably good. But because he decides he wants to shoot 3-pointers and take jump shots and play around the perimeter, then you have these situations where he just doesn't perform, or he leaves opportunities on the floor, and it sucks. Because I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example of that game last year where he dropped 70. Let me pull that up. 70 points. He was 24 or 41 from the field. It's a lot of shots, right? We hit 58.5%. He was 21 of 23 from the line, 91.3%. You want to know what he was from three-point range? 1 of 2. And I point that out because Joel Embiid averages a lot more than that per game shooting threes. Takes about 3 to 4 threes a game. And there are games where he takes 5, 6, 7 threes. And you look at that and you're sitting here saying to yourself, what, like even in the playoffs, like he took 9 threes in a game, 8, 7, 6, 5. Like, you're fucking 7'1", 285, 300 pounds. Be big. Play big. Why are you playing little? There's not a player in the NBA that can stop Joel Embiid when he's around the basket. Nobody. When he established his position, he's like Shaq, just without the explosion and the jumping ability. But he's literally unstoppable because he's so damn big. But he's also so damn skilled. And yet you've watched a man waste a career because, I mean, I don't know, maybe he's out of shape like Shaq was, and his body's not able to take it. And you got to ask yourself these questions, like how seriously does Joel Embiid take the off season? Does he work? Does he not work? What does he do? Because this is the same shit on a year-to-year basis. It has not changed. And right now, the Philadelphia 76ers really have a decision to make. They really have a decision. He's in a 3-year, $192 million contract that he just signed an extension on. Think about this for a second. He just signed an extension on so he's being paid $59.5 million next year, $64.3 million. And then he has a player option at 28, 29 for $69 million. He'd be 34 years old. I think he'd be out of his goddamn mind to opt out of that deal. Out of his damn mind. He has to keep that deal. 3 years, $192 million. So the Sixers are in a pickle. They got to decide what they're going to do because he's going to keep their franchise from ever moving forward if he can't play. Paul George is done. I mean, they got fucked there too. 4 years, $211 million. You're paying two guys $110 million combined, and neither guy can stay on the floor. Neither guy can be healthy. You can't win that way. Tyrese Maxey's essentially playing by himself. He's essentially playing by himself. And it's absolutely ridiculous. And like you couldn't to think that the Sixers are 20 and 34 with the roster that they have, but the guys are never able to play. They're never healthy. And it's bananas. And the crazy thing is a hot streak could get them into the play-in. A hot streak gets them in the play-in. But will Embiid be able to play? I don't even know why he's hurt right now. I don't even know what his newest ailment is. There's always an ailment. And it's sad. But he's part of why this league is so fucked up now and it's toilet bullshit. Because you have a guy like him with so much talent who's never available. And you got to ask yourself, why is he never available? And you got to blame him. He doesn't care enough to be available. He doesn't work hard enough to be available. He lives in this world of entitlement that LeBron James created for this entire league. Entitled. You get your check. Who gives a shit if you can play or not? Who cares? You're getting paid anyhow, right? And I think it's sad. But yeah, he's just another example of the inability to stay healthy. And another example of the toilet bowl syndrome of the NBA and why the league is gone to shit and keeps going to shit. The Philadelphia 76ers are in trouble if they are stuck in two massive contracts with guys that cannot be on the court. I almost feel bad for the Philly fans, except for the fact that Philly fans are all assholes and they just won a Super Bowl again. So who the fuck cares if they can't win in basketball? But realistically, it's a shitty situation to be in. I mean, you're stuck with all this money being spent on two guys that can't play. And this is why Philadelphia is where it is. And it's a large part of why the NBA is a shit show as it is and in the toilet bowl. But you let me know your thoughts on Joel Embiid. Is he part of the reason that the NBA is in the toilet bowl? I'm sure many of you, especially in Philadelphia, will agree. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Like, subscribe, follow, hit that bell. This is Rudy's Rant. We talk facts over feelings. Come on now.